Hi everyone, it's Ciara. I am a teaching artist from Arts for All, and today we are going to continue our learning about animation. So for today's lesson, you need your background from last time, as well as your character. And what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be learning how to add multiple variables, so that means new objects, into our animations to make our animations more dynamic and interesting. So to begin, you're just going to take a look at your background and think about what else you could add to make it more interesting without making it entirely complicated. So for me, I chose an outer space theme. So I'm choosing to add an additional amount of stars as well as some planets. So for the stars, all I did was draw some extra stars in the same style as I did before and cut them out so that I can easily place them in to animate. For the second object that you're choosing, we are going to use replacement technique, but we're going to be growing from small to big. So whatever it is that you decide to draw, you want to draw multiple versions, at least 3, so that you have a small size, a medium size, and a large size. So I chose to do 8 versions because I chose a planet, which is fairly simple to draw and didn't take me very long. So I started by drawing a really, really small planet, and I kept drawing until I reached this size planet. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about using replacement, moving from small to large when we're animating. So to do that, we're going to use the same technique that we used for our character. You're going to place one object, starting with the smallest, into your frame, take a photo, and then you're going to replace it with a larger object and take a photo. You're going to continue that pattern until you reach the largest size object you have. So I'm going to flash forward to my largest planet, and I would keep repeating that process until I get to this size. While you're doing that, you're also going to be adding in that new detail. So for me, it's stars. So that means that every time I add a planet, before I take a picture, I'm also adding a new star. So I'll place a star alongside my planet and take a picture. This is different from last time because we're adding 2 things at a time, whereas before we were just focused on our character. There's going to be a video right after this that shows you in real time how to animate it that you can follow along with if you don't understand what I'm saying now. When you finish moving from large to small with your planets, you can try out using the replacement technique with your character and using your planets at the same time to travel around that. So when you're animating that portion, you're using the replacement technique to replace your character with another version of your character, and you're just ever so slightly moving your planet each time you take a photo so it looks like it's circulating the screen. So those are the 2 things that we're going to be covering in today's lesson. Like I said, right after this, there's a video that shows you in real time how to animate that. And right now is a great time to pause and think about what the 2 objects you are going to be adding into your animation are.
So to repeat all of that again, you're going to start with your background, and then you've already drawn your 2 new variables. So here are the stars that I've drawn, and I'm setting up the planets that I've drawn, and I'm going to arrange them from largest to smallest so that it's going to make my life a little bit easier when I start replacing them in order of size. So go ahead and take a moment to arrange those things. Then we're going to get started. So first I'm going to put in some additional stars, and remembering that every time I make a change, I take 2 photos. I'm going to remove them, and I'm going to take 2 photos again. I'm going to place them back in, and this time I'm placing in my first planet. I'm replacing it with a larger planet, and remembering that I'm taking photos in between all of these replacements. Now I'm replacing that planet with a larger version, taking 2 photos, replacing it again and taking 2 photos, replacing it with almost the last one, and finally the largest planet and taking 2 photos. I'm going to add in a few more stars and take a photo of that change. Then we're going to learn a new technique, rotation. So you're going to turn your planet 90 degrees, or whatever object you're using, 90 degrees, and take 2 photos. You're going to rotate it 90 degrees again, and take 2 photos again, and 90 degrees again, and take 2 photos again. This technique, when you play back your animation, will make the object that you've just rotated look as though it's spinning in your animation. So this is our rotation technique. Now we're going to reintroduce our character and the other object that you've added in that's new. For this animation, I'm just slightly moving my planet each time I take a photo and using my replacement technique to animate my character. So I'm replacing my alien each time I take a photo and moving my planet each time I take a photo. This is new because previously we've only used the replacement technique. Right now, we're using the replacement technique for our character and just slightly moving the other object that's in our animation. For my stars, I'm removing them one at a time. Each time I remove a star, I'm taking a photo so that when I replay my animation, it looks like they're slowly disappearing from the sky.
That's it for today. I'm going to leave you with an example of an animation that I made using my planets, and I will see you next time.